So after 3 years of shooting photos and videos with my beloved Sony A7 III, I have finally switched to a new camera, and it is the Sony A7 IV. If you have been following my YouTube channel, you can see that I have shot so many cinematic videos with the Sony A7 III and the results were awesome too. But right now in 2022, I really felt that I needed a more powerful camera compared to my Sony A7 III in multiple aspects. The most important reason for me to upgrade to the Sony A7 IV was the 10-bit 422 color depth, since I do heavy color grading on my footages and I really enjoy it. Another big problem which I had with my Sony A7 III was the autofocus issue with the S-Log profiles. When you were using the S-Log profiles, the camera struggled so much in order to focus, and you would miss a lot of scenes and you needed to retake them in order to achieve the correct focus. And that's why I was forced to switch to HLG3 profile for my cinematic videos, even though I think that the S-Log profile is the most cinematic picture profile of Sony cameras. But with the Sony A7 IV, you are getting exceptional autofocus performance even in S-Log profiles. Another big problem which I had with the Sony A7 III was that the Face AF got disabled when I connected the external monitor to the camera, or when I was shooting 120 frames per second, and that was a big problem for me, especially considering that I shoot so many portrait videos and the Face AF feature is really vital for me. But right now with the A7 IV, the Face and Eye AF works in every video mode, and whether you have the external monitor connected to the camera or not. And the Eye AF in the video works like a charm and you would just love it. I have been playing with my Sony A7 IV for the last few days, and I want to mention some of the most important improvements which I found that you get out of it compared to the Sony A7 III. Now we have got separate settings for photos and videos with the Sony A7 IV. Previously with my Sony A7 III, when I wanted to shoot a photo between my videos, I needed to change everything like the ISO, aperture, the shutter speed, the picture profile in order to shoot that photo, and then revert everything back in order to continue shooting the video. But right now with the Sony A7 IV, we have separate settings for the photos and videos, and that's a big relief. The bigger grip of Sony A7 IV feels much better in the hands compared to the Sony A7 III, and you will notice it as soon as you take this camera in your hands. The new updated menu and the full touch control of the Sony A7 IV is just awesome. The touch operation now works 100% everywhere in the UI, and now you can enjoy the full touch capabilities of your camera. I should really admit that I really love the fully articulating screen on the Sony A7 IV, and I just can't go back with the Sony A7 III. Previously I didn't have a positive mindset about the articulating screens, but since I got my Sony ZV-E10 and I used that feature, I just changed my mindset and I say that it's a really important feature for a camera. With the new A7 IV, the live view doesn't go black while recording when you are connected to an external monitor. This was another big issue which I had with the Sony A7 III. The new full-size HDMI port on the Sony A7 IV is much better, and the cable doesn't feel loose compared to the micro HDMI port which we previously had on the Sony A7 III. The new aspect ratio option which you get with the Sony A7 IV is really great and handy. Now you can shoot your photos in different aspect ratios like 16:9. For example, you want to shoot your photos for your Instagram stories, you can shoot them by default in 16:9, and so you do not need to crop them in post in your computer, and you have the photo ready in order to be shared in your social media. The touch tracking feature, which is not new with the recent Sony cameras, but we were hoping to get it with an update for the Sony A7 III, but we didn't, is now available with the Sony A7 IV and works like a charm. And finally, with the Sony A7 IV, you can change the focus area color from white to red, and it is much better right now. These were some of the big and minor improvements which I found with the Sony A7 IV, and I mentioned them in this video. There are a lot of other improvements which you can find in the Sony A7 IV compared to the Sony A7 III. I'm going to shoot so many cinematic videos with this beast in the future, and also I will do so many portrait photo shoot with it, since it is a hybrid camera and I am also a portrait photographer. So please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you do not miss any of my upcoming videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching this review, guys, and I really hope to see you in my future videos. Goodbye.